The buried school bus. On July 15, 1976, 3 men armed with guns hijacked a school bus carrying 26 children and their bus driver in Chowchilla, California. Their plan? Hold them for ransom and demand $5 million from the state's Board of Education. The kidnappers forced the bus to a stop and loaded everyone into 2 vans. They drove the victims around for 11 hours to disorient them before arriving at their final destination, an abandoned rock quarry in Livermore, California. There they forced the children and the bus driver into a buried moving truck, which had been converted into a makeshift underground prison. The truck was covered in dirt and weighed down with heavy metal plates, making escape nearly impossible. But the kidnappers made a pretty serious mistake. They forgot to call in the ransom demand right away. Instead, they took a nap because they were tired from all the digging and driving. They also underestimated the power of children. After 16 hours underground, they managed to stack mattresses high enough to reach the roof, then dug their way out using just their hands. By the time the kidnappers woke up ready to make their ransom demand, their hostages were already on the news, safe and free. The police quickly identified the 3 criminals, all of whom came from rich families. They were caught and were sentenced to life in prison. Not a single dollar of ransom was ever paid, and the victims, though traumatized, survived. Richard the Lionheart. Richard spent almost 0 time ruling England because he was obsessed with war. Specifically, he was off fighting the Third Crusade, a massive campaign to reclaim Jerusalem from Muslim forces. Richard made a lot of enemies during the Crusades, including Leopold V, Duke of Austria. Why? Because Richard had insulted him big time. After a battle, Leopold raised his flag alongside Richard's and the French kings to claim equal credit. Richard was not having it, so he ripped down Leopold's flag and threw it in the mud. Leopold never forgot that humiliation. So when Richard started travelling back to England incognito, disguised as a simple knight to avoid trouble, he made the mistake of stopping in Leopold's territory. The Duke instantly recognised him and arrested him on the spot. Leopold then did what any medieval power-hungry noble would do: sold him to the Holy Roman Empire. The ransom for his release? 150,000 marks of silver, equivalent to about 34 tons of silver, or an estimated $2 to $3 billion today. England was forced into an economic meltdown just to free its king. Taxes were raised to extreme levels, churches melted down their gold and silver treasures, and the crown even auctioned off official government positions to raise money. The whole kingdom was basically put on eBay to pay the bill. After a year in captivity, the ransom was fully paid, and Richard was finally released in 1194. But England's economy took years to recover. So that wraps up my list. Like this video if you learned something, subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!